Did you know that in 1974, a horrifying crime took place in a house in Amityville, New York, where 6 members of the DeFeo family were brutally murdered? This chilling event set the stage for one of America's most infamous haunted house stories. The house on 112 Ocean Avenue became synonymous with terror, forever remembered as the Amityville Horror. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into the Amityville Horror, a name synonymous with haunted houses and paranormal chills. This isn't just any house, it's a site drenched in blood and shadows, a place where reality meets horror. What happened within these walls transcends typical ghost stories, becoming a part of pop culture and a topic of heated debate. Was it real? Was it a hoax? Get ready to explore the story of a family that moved into their dream home, only to flee in terror just 28 days later. So grab your popcorn, turn down the lights, and let's get into it. So, what's the big mystery surrounding the Amityville house? Is it really haunted, or are all those spooky stories simply a figment of people's imagination? It all started with a brutal mass murder that left 6 people dead. Ronald DeFeo Jr., the eldest son, shot his entire family in their sleep. A year later, the Lutz family moved in, unaware of the horrors that awaited them. They claimed to have experienced terrifying paranormal activities, from ghostly apparitions to eerie voices and physical attacks. The story caught the media's attention, turning the Amityville house into a legend. But with so many skeptics out there, it begs the question, can we trust the accounts of the Lutz family, or is there a more rational explanation for the strange happenings? Let's take a trip back in time and explore the history of this infamous house. On November 13, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. committed a heinous crime that shocked the nation. In the dead of night, armed with a .35 caliber rifle, he murdered his father, mother, 2 brothers and 2 sisters while they slept in their beds. The motive behind the massacre was never fully understood. Was it a drug-induced rage? A snap in his psyche? Or something more sinister at play? After his arrest, DeFeo claimed to have heard voices telling him to kill his family. Could these voices have been a manifestation of mental illness, or were they something darker? The house sat empty for over a year until December 1975, when George and Kathy Lutz purchased it for what seemed like a bargain, $80,000. The 5-bedroom Dutch colonial-style home, complete with a swimming pool and boathouse, seemed like the perfect place to raise their family. But almost immediately, things started to go wrong. Within days of moving in, the Lutz family reported a series of bizarre and terrifying experiences. George, a former Marine and a practical man by nature, found himself waking up every night at 3:15 a.m., the exact time the DeFeo murders were believed to have occurred. The Lutzes spoke of cold spots in rooms, strange odors that would suddenly fill the house, and green slime oozing from the walls. They described feeling an unseen presence watching them, shadows moving without explanation, and hearing strange disembodied voices. Even their dog, Harry, was not spared from the terror, often barking at seemingly empty corners of the house. As the days passed, the experiences intensified. Kathy reported that she would be embraced by unseen hands while in the kitchen, and she also saw ghostly apparitions of a young girl. She even found herself levitating off the bed one night, paralyzed with fear. Then there was Jody, the menacing red-eyed pig-like creature that their young daughter Missy claimed to have befriended. The Lutz family reached a breaking point when George, in a trance-like state, stared into the fireplace for hours, feeling as if he were being consumed by an evil force. The media frenzy surrounding the Lutz's story turned Amityville into a household name. Journalists, paranormal investigators, and even clergy members were drawn to the site to either prove or debunk the haunting. The most notable investigation was conducted by Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famous demonologist couple, who believed the house was possessed by a demonic entity. The Warrens claimed to have felt a presence so malevolent that they warned the Lutz family to leave immediately. The family fled the house after just 28 days, leaving behind all their belongings. But was it all just a story, a sensationalized tale meant to capitalize on the tragedy of the DeFeo murders? Many skeptics argued that the Lutzes concocted the entire haunting as a hoax to profit from book deals and media attention. Others pointed out inconsistencies in their stories, such as the fluctuating accounts of certain incidents and the lack of physical evidence. However, the Lutzes maintained their experiences were real until their deaths. Now, let's talk about some of the most shocking claims made by the Lutz family. The most terrifying and unforgettable accounts revolve around physical manifestations and demonic encounters. One night, George Lutz claimed he woke up in the middle of the night, unable to move, as a dark hooded figure stood at the foot of his bed staring down at him. He described feeling a pressure on his chest, as if something was trying to crush him. Kathy Lutz also reported being thrown from her bed by an unseen force and seeing George transform into a demonic figure before her very eyes, his face aged rapidly, his features contorted with rage. The most disturbing experience of all might be their encounter with Jody. Their daughter, Missy, spoke of a pig-like creature with glowing red eyes that would appear outside her window and speak to her. George himself claimed to have seen these red eyes peering in through a window one night. After these incidents, George and Kathy Lutz decided to take no chances. They invited a priest to bless the house, but the priest reportedly heard a deep, menacing voice telling him to get out. As he was blessing the rooms, he was slapped by an unseen force, leading him to flee the house, warning the Lutzes to never sleep in that particular room again. These experiences turned the Amityville house into a symbol of fear and intrigue, fueling debates about the existence of the paranormal. Many paranormal enthusiasts believe the house was indeed haunted, either by the spirits of the DeFeo family or by some darker, more ancient entity that had claimed the land long before. Meanwhile, skeptics remain unconvinced, attributing the events to psychological phenomena, hallucinations, or an elaborate scam. The Amityville Horror is more than just a scary story. It's a complex tale of tragedy, mystery, and enduring fascination. The gruesome DeFeo murders laid the groundwork for a haunting narrative that captured the imagination of millions. What do you think? Is the Amityville Horror real or just a bunch of spooky tales? Are we looking at a genuine paranormal case, or were the Lutzes just exceptionally creative storytellers? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're interested in more haunted locations and chilling stories, don't forget to check out my other videos. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.